Okay, so hello to forgot that one. So hello to all of you across the social media platforms. That one's a little far off, but it's okay. Everyone can see Venerable Lee and myself. Let me readjust this here real quick. It's all right. Okay. So right now, I've taken. I wanted to take this opportunity to review some materials with Venerable Lee. It is also training, part of his training, but typically we do training all the time, actually. Um, but today I just wanted to make it visible in reviewing some materials with him. I'm going to grab a glass of water, but I also want Venerable to today. I want Venerable Lee to look at how I prepare for a class. Now, starting off, I try to adopt Ajahn Chah's way of teaching, which is you show up, you don't prepare for nothing, and you just randomly select one of 84,000 teachings and expand on it. And I've learned along the way of 8 years of teaching, 5 of the years publicly. That means empirical observations. So today, the new generation of monks, which is Gen Zoomers, which is Venerable Lee, 21 years old, never been exposed to Buddhism before in his life. So now he's now having to catch up. A lot of catching up, 84,000 teachings, 45 years, 45 Bibles, not including commentaries on top of commentaries on top of commentaries. So it could take multiple lifetimes to finish everything. So today, I wanted Venerable Lee to just review real quick see, this is what I drag with me on every class, right? And he's going to look at the cheat sheets, and he's also going to look at my printouts when I'm having to prepare for stuff. So when you are starting off in teaching, you want to put together something like this. And these are your immediate reference. Okay, and even if it's a rare thing that you know this by heart, when we chant in the monastery, you see that everyone has to look at, you see the senior monks having to flip the pages. And you're wondering, when I was younger, I was wondering why. I'm like, don't you all know this by now? Because, well, they were much older than I was. I was 16 at the time, and I memorized the whole entire chanting book. The whole time they're chanting, I'm closing my eyes and chanting faster than they can. And sometimes when Venerable Bufung and myself are the only ones in there, oh, it's beautiful when I'm the only one in there, and it's just me and the monk. We start racing, and I bet you he must be like, who is this behind me? What the hell? He never did that though, but I know in his mind, because Venerable Bufung's got a very particular ear that when you can't pronounce or you don't pronounce certain words, nya tayo, na tayo, you'll be like nya, nya, nya tayo, panati pata, weramani sikha patang samadhiyami. but but the way how he says it with the microphone, samadhiyami, that means he's cracking the whip. He's cracking the whip with the endings of certain vowels at the end, and that's when he says the me. All of us are like me. Like all of us are sitting back here. We're like me. When you hear that, you're like, oh God, I'm still alive. So, anyways, but there is so much to the teachings, and in details, even Catholic priests, you notice that when they do mass, their hands are open and they read straight out of their preparations and their Bible. It literally is like right here. So anyone that shows up to Catholic mass, you all see the priest, read directly, and it's like they've done this for 50 years, but yet don't make a mistake. Now, so therefore, no one should ever attempt the Ajahn Chah's way like I did, unless you have superior memory, of which now my memory has started to show signs and symptoms of mild cognitive impairment, MCI. There was this priest that baptized thousands of people, and there was one word in there about the baptism. I have to look up that article again, but because he did not say that one word, it invalidated thousands of people who were baptized by him. Let me see if I can look it up real quick, just to make my point. Priest neglect. You want to entertain these people over here, see what's going on while I look this up? Oh, yeah, here we go. See, look at this. Thousands of baptism. This is found on theguardian.com. And if you all put thousands of baptisms invalidated by priests' use of one wrong word. Okay, so you all can Google that. Again, the title is Thousands of Baptisms Invalidated by Priests' Use of One Wrong Word. Priest in Phoenix, Arizona resigned after mistakenly used the phrase, "We baptize you," instead of "I baptize you." Thousands. And he did it for years. One word. One word. We for I. Maybe he's a Buddhist practitioner. Maybe he don't want to, me, my, and I. Me, my, and I. Okay, my point is that, yeah, it's not a laughing joke and matter for thousands of Catholics in this Arizona church. Okay. And his name, okay, how about we leave his name out, and we're going to leave the parish out, just because it's not us Buddhists to do that to people. His error means that countless baptisms, an irrevocable requirement for salvation in Catholic theology, will have to be performed again. And some churchgoers could find their marriages are not recognized. So it's a ripple effect. An invalid baptism invalidates any subsequent sacraments, especially confirmation, marriage, and holy orders. We're not going to say that. Okay. Okay. In announcing the priest's resignation, it saddens me to learn that I have performed invalid baptisms throughout my ministry as a priest by regularly using an innocent formula. I deeply regret my error and how this has affected numerous people in your parish. Okay, all right. You get the point. Imagine if that was you. Whew, that's one inconvenience right there. And an embarrassment to the Catholic world and the Vatican. So, you trained to be a priest for almost a decade and still make mistakes. Therefore, don't make this mistake. And today you're going to learn how not to, which is to prepare like this. Okay. The historical perspective. All right. Where he's been, where he traveled through, his early life, the life of the Buddha, which is something that you need to take very seriously, because you're going to get questions. Who was the guy? Okay. And then the Buddha's life as a reflection of his teaching. So the cheat sheets here remind you on what you need to look for. These are like the highlights, what to look for in the actual textbooks, in the Nikayas and the biographies, the numerous biographies. Okay, you need to review this. This cheat sheet, you need to review. Whatever you don't know, you need to expand on. Okay. So again, every single word, you need to pay close attention to it. Now over this side is Wheel of Existence, the Psychology of Confusion and the Path of Liberation, which is ignorance. So you need to read all of this, because anyone can ask you questions on all of this. And if you don't know it, you tell them, hold on, I'm just starting out. It hasn't even been a year. It hasn't even been 6 months. So give me 1 second to review this from an academic standpoint so I can get back with you all. Okay. Now, the printouts. Here's my chanting part. Okay. And this is in Vietnamese. Okay. Now I'd like for you to take a look at this real quick. Everyone give me 1 second. I need to grab a drink. Yes, I am his teacher. I'll give me 1 second. And any one of you who are near your phone or laptop, you all can look up Buddhist cheat sheet, and I'm pretty sure it's going to show up on your phone and stuff. I'm trying to make this thing work here with Instagram.
This is the threefold
training. Yeah. And see how it divides up into a no way full path. All right. Don't write in it. Yeah.
I put it away.
Yeah. I'm gonna make copies for you. We make copies. This is so useful. I should make more copies of this and give it out. Right? Look at that. Keep it open. We gotta put it back in. So take a look at that for a second while I make copies. I was supposed to. We're done looking at that. You can return to that later. Okay, but glance through it quick. Learn to read quickly. Skimming, get a big picture of what that is. You guys give us 1 second for Venerable Lee to glance through it, absorb it. Anyone who's wondering what we're doing, we're screening through the Noble Eightfold Path through a quick glance. So you all can now Google Noble Eightfold Path on Google.
This is what Theravadin was talking about.
Another good book the Venerable is going to be reading is Advice Not Given by Mark Epstein. Advice Not Given by Mark Epstein that reviews the Noble Eightfold Path. Again, advice. Someone write that for me if you're participating in this live. Advice Not Given. Mark Epstein, big contributor in Buddhism. Okay, got it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So in your folder, and this you're gonna look up on your own. You're gonna be doing your own research on it and printing your own. All you gotta do is Control P and it prints. So you're gonna be using this laptop right here that is connected to that, or this one of these two right here has direct capabilities once you plug that in. I don't know how to do that Wi-Fi Bluetooth thing. So old school. Okay, and then you see how I highlighted everything.
Mm-hmm.
These are this right view. Okay. And don't think that just because you read some of these is that now we have right view from this book. This is a very valuable book to me as a teacher, to you, because I think of you when I'm screening through these books. I already know all this stuff, but I'm like, what's going to help him on understanding this path and representing this to the people? And so I was going through and I'm looking at this and I'm like, a guy getting over yourself. So that must be the me, my, and the I. Well, all of his teachings has to do with me, my, and the I. So then I open up into this section right here and it has the Noble Eightfold Path. See that? Very useful.
That's it.
Right.
It continues.
See? Praise and blame, gain and loss, the 8 winds. To be happy, rest like a giant tree in the midst of all of them.
8 worldly winds.
So you see this here?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now look at right view. Right view is expanded into like 5 pages. He's explaining it. Okay. And in the midst of you reading all of this right here, you need to not sound like this book.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more than 5 pages. It's like it's 11 pages for right view, on top of a couple more books on right view.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to read at least 100 pages on right view to get a grand picture and take notes under right view. Okay, so you get the point of the researching aspect of this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then I broke it down even more. So when you're sitting there teaching, you're going through all of this and you want to highlight what you want to tell the people and expand on it. Okay. Right speech means, so we're taking examples real quick so I can give Venerable Lee examples of it. Right speech means abstention from telling lies. Then you would stop there. Let me put this book away for a second. Okay. Now we do some note taking. Okay, we're gonna show Venerable Lee how to expand. I'm gonna use right speech because this is a lot of people get themselves in trouble with right speech. Okay, so write it down. So right speech, right? Number 1 here is lies. Okay, number 2, slander. Three, rude, impolite. Read this out loud so people can hear it. All that.
Harsh, rude, impolite, malicious, and abusive language. 4. From idle, useless, and foolish babble and gossip. you want me to continue past
Mhm.
that? When one abstains from these forms of wrong and harmful speech, one naturally has to speak the truth, has to use words that are friendly and benevolent, pleasant and gentle, meaningful and useful. One should not speak carelessly. Speech should be at the right time and place. If one cannot say something useful, one should keep noble silence.
All right. So when it comes to for this, if we use this as an example, as a framework for right speech, lies, right? You need to give examples because you have to help people think. Because they're gonna be like lies. Should I not lie about stealing a cookie? It's more than that. Think of examples how people tell lies.
To get out of work early.
Mm-hmm.
Not having to go to school. Lying about being sick. Lying to their significant others about why they were late.
Lie about finance.
Right.
What else?
Lie about grades. Lie about social or economic status.
Okay. All right. All of these are fueled by what? What is the root cause of all this?
Ignorance.
No. Fear. Hear that? So if you want to be skillful, if you want to sound like Google, you can. That's what AI is for. That's what ChatGPT is for. You need to be different from ChatGPT by expanding on it, and then letting people know. Oh, yes, I do. Everyone who's listening is gonna go. Oh, I do that. But why do I do that? So help them understand why do they do that, and you all do that because we are fear driven, which is psychology books that you have not read. Right? So fear based. So then you also fear based. Now you also have to look up the psychology of fear, which is an abundant. See, fear of everything. See, psychology of fear. You see that? Uh-huh. There are endless psychology of fear. All right, so you need to understand that, and then look when I put fear, when I put fear of. You see that? Fear, fear of so many. Fear of missing out, fear of failure. Also, so like I said, everything here is an umbrella. It's an umbrella underneath an umbrella underneath another umbrella. So under right speech would be an umbrella. And under that umbrella, there's another umbrella called lies. And then here are the examples of the lies. And then fear-based, and if you wanted to expand on that alone, but you don't have to go that deep. Sometimes you don't have to be too analytical. Slander, which is defamation, especially defamation of character. That is also another research subject on here, and part of the reason why people get sued in civil law. Okay.
Defamation of character.
Slander and defamation are some of the things that does not constitute right speech. Okay. Rude, impolite, malicious, and abusive language, which is now we're just getting evil with language. You're the B word, you're in da 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 da. This goes on and on. Okay. Gossip and idle speech, I believe that you have seen examples of idle speech today
Mm-hmm.
for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to give examples of idle speech, which is basically talking about nothing. That has to do nothing with anything. And you have to reel students back in when they're just talking about Paris Hilton or the Kardashians or, who gave birth on the highway. Like, what does that have to do with our suffering and the suffering of other people? How do we, well, giving birth on the highway could also constitutes birth, which is the first noble truth. So you also have to screen through the informed lens of the Dhamma. Informed lens of the Dhamma. And then examples of pleasant and gentle, meaningful and useful language. You need to also give examples of that. Well, what does that mean, gentle? Like, can I help you? Versus, in what ways can I be of service? In what ways can I help? Yeah. Let me find an example. Someone did that. Oh, yeah. Remember we were the cemetery. Remember when I told that deputy that we were practicing driving for a student?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
would
yeah.
answer running. What can I do for you? With a face like this. Rude.
I have another example.
But you remember that, right? His
Yeah,
nature
I
and
do.
tone of
Yeah,
voice.
he's just like annoyed. I think you know the other one that I'm
What?
thinking of. Remember the light on the way to Sunday service. Eric, Ethan, you, and me.
Oh.
That was a good one.
Well, we don't want to target people in
Yes,
uniform.
yes.
That's two examples.
But I understand.
Right.
I understand.
People. There's also a lot of people in uniforms watching. So again, you have to be careful of your examples also, and you have to disclose to the people as you're giving a public talk that these examples are not isolated. They are or not isolated. They are with or without prejudice, and that by any and all means does not, that your intention is not to cloud the judgment of the people in regards to this example. And you also need to defend on both sides. If you sound like that's a really personal thing, then, then people who are listening are gonna be like, "Oh wow, you're really dark, dude. You're really dark in robes right now." So you have to be supremely aware of examples that you give, empirical examples in real life. So that would be okay. Friendly and benevolent, gentle and meaningful. Meaningful. Okay. Again, giving examples of how people use speech, everyday language, and there's plenty of books on speech. Um, and you can also talk about NVC, Nonviolent Communications, by Dr.
Marshall Rosenberg, I believe.
Marshall Rosenberg, and speak about that. And also, you can quote the Dalai Lama: "If you can't help them, at least don't hurt them." And obviously, don't hurt them through speech. Again, small organ that we use every single day, that causes so much trouble, or it can bring so much peace into one's life. Notice eulogies at funerals. It brings so much comfort, peace, and solace. Okay, so you get what I'm saying? So you need to like pull out examples, and you can also draw out. So this, this is that, but we can also draw out. If I do this, right, speech, true. Ooh, that's ugly. True. Is it? So you can draw. You can. What is this? Brainstorming. True. On the right speech, is it true? Is it beneficial? And is the timing correct? Okay. Truthful. Does it concur with science? Okay. True. Is it empirical? You can see, watch, and observe. See for yourself. true? Is it in a textbook, or did you make it up? Is it beneficial for you and both parties and society and humanity? Okay. Timing. Okay. The time of the day, night, place, okay, occasion would fall under that. Okay. And see, speech should be right time and place. Okay. If you cannot say something useful, you should keep noble silence. So you can literally take 1 hour or more talking on right speech alone, and make it beautiful, and not to bore people out, and to watch people's engagement to see if they're doing this while you're talking, or they start meditating and they start like slumping over. You're boring them out. So you have to know how to keep it on a level where they don't feel attacked, they don't feel too seen, too much seen. It's just like, like, dude, wow, you're really attacking me. Because people do this. We know that people do this. Our job is to bring it up to awareness, describe the problem, and come up with a solution to the problem, and not just like bashing people. A lot of unskillful monks, they do that. They don't mean to, but they just keep on describing the problem, the what and the how. So don't spend too much time with the what, and also emphasize the how in a beautiful way. And sometimes I make that mistake of just keeping it so clinical and so straight to the point. So too much Theravadin is not a good thing. Also add some compassionate and kindness in there, where people are like, oh, okay, I understand the how now in a beautiful way. And the last thing is to encourage people to practice it. Why should they practice it? And that touches karma. And when we go to karma, okay, so motivation, right? After you describe the what, the how, and then motivate them by teachings on karma, which is intention. Willfully, knowingly, intentionally. So just having the intention that I want to help this person, that I want to not cause harm, they're already cultivating good karma with under karmic effects. Okay, that's okay. You want good karma, you want karmic currency, you want emotional currency, then this is why you should practice right speech. Okay. So again, you have to read up on karma, and we have little tiny books on karma so that you can understand the basics of karma. Also, when you assign homework for people to go home and study right speech, the one thing under this school of Jidao is that we need to also get people, we explain it, no one's taking notes. Guess what? We're assigning homework. So, because what good does it do to just sit there and hear? This is not radio station. Yeah. And this is not obviously music. So they need to take notes, and they need to be able to convey as closest to this as possible, satisfactory on their level of understanding, comprehension, and where they're at in life with things that are going on in their life. Obviously, if someone's going through a divorce, breakup, loss of a loved one, that means that sometimes they're not right now. Their minds can't get right now, not organized enough right now, not on point right now to be able to convey again what it is that we are expecting of them. So you have to give some slack, right, or understanding, right, compassion. See, sometime over here too. If we look at that, then we're here. Speak truthfully, used for promoting harmony and making the effort to be honest and help others in their efforts in walking. What else? Notes on karma. Forgive the person and their actions. Never give in to hate. Let it go. Get it free, and karma will take care of what's meant to be. Okay. You remember that?
Yeah.
You should always end the class with this
Quote.
because it re-emphasizes that every day we're battling with Mara in our heads. They need to be the noblest victor of all.
I've heard this quite a few times, but different variations of it.
Here's a fun way. What?
No.
All right. A lot of notes. These are clinical notes. Buddhist holidays. Be aware of the Buddhist holidays.
Hmm.
Okay. When people ask you about Buddhist holidays, the four foundations of mindfulness. Right, this is later. I don't expect you to do that. But here's right mindfulness.
Bhikkhu was talking about the foundations a little bit in the Eightfold Path. Like because of his understanding, he expands pretty far.
Mm-hmm. Down the road, you'll get to this. I don't expect you to know this right now.
Okay.
But it's a combination of everything all together.
Yeah,
You have to be very skillful for that. And this talks about the. Lance, do this. Why don't you read it out loud so that everyone can hear it?
What will happen if you start meditating today? You will get a healthier body. It improves the immune system, reduces blood pressure, increases energy level, improves heart and breathing rates, more longevity, helps with less diseases, heart problems, brain problems, such as stroke, Alzheimer's, or epilepsy, inflammatory disorders, asthma, premenstrual syndrome and menopausal symptoms, arthritis, fibromyalgia, HIV. It helps to bring more emotional well-being, diminishes stress, anxiety, fear, and depression, reduces worry, loneliness, and impulsivity, better resilience against pain and adversity, improves your mood and emotional intelligence, helps prevent emotional eating and emotional smoking, increases optimism, relaxation, and self-awareness, enhances self-esteem, self-acceptance, helps develop positive social connections. Supermind, faster and more reliable information processing, leading to better decision making, better memory retention and recall, improves cognitive skills, wider perspective in life and for problem solving, increases mental strength and focus, helps creative thinking and brainstorming, helps ignore distractions, and helps to manage ADHD.
Okay. So every time when you start teaching on meditation, or people who are new into Buddhism, these are the benefits of meditation that you need to emphasize, even though it's available on Google. Go ahead, read some more.
Some more benefits of meditation. The physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual benefits of meditation might include higher levels of energy, creativity, and spontaneity,
Mm-hmm.
lower blood pressure, increased exercise tolerance, better concentration, decreased stress, depression, and anxiety, fewer cravings for alcohol and cigarettes, increased job satisfaction, and better relationship with others. More.
Oh yeah, you don't have to read those. You get the point, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So again, this you need to also know these things, right? Whatever's out there, the 5 aggregates, you will get to that. Trust me, that's gonna take quite a good minute for you to understand the 5 aggregates. And this is the practice of dependent origination. The 12 links. Aggregates again. Okay, and then Buddhist vocabulary. All right. Every sector has a vocabulary. This is just 0.01%.
I bet.
Nope, just glance.
Where's that one?
It's a Tibetan. Bardo. You don't have to, that's Tibetan. Okay. And then there's some couple examples here too.
I read about this in the other book by, what was it, Diana Winston. She talks about this, about ascetics, when he came to the conclusion that it was not conducive.
So you need to just be aware that these words exist. So when you look in the text, it rings a bell. So the familiarity of the capital of words that you need to know in your library, in your head. Okay. And then again, since some more here. But again, you don't have to know it all. Again, just glance through them from time to time. There's so much that you have to replenish your mind. Also known as samadhi. That's, I would question if that's spelled right or not. So, but anyway. Okay, so when you actually put in Google basics of Buddhism, all of this will come up, and I'm going to be seeing what stands out for you, as you've already seen a few here, right?
Okay.
And every time you go organize. So it is now 10:25. Let us wrap up the live sessions here. Hopefully everyone got a lot out of tonight's training session for Venerable Lee. We'll let him take a 10-minute break. Let's see where he's at after a long day of work. And we will proceed on after this point. He has Sunday coming up, and he sweats bullets every time when there's a Sunday session. Oh, before I wrap this up, let me show you the psychological aspect. The school of Qidao is that you need to understand Western psychology and Eastern philosophy teachings of the Buddha and put them together. That's what makes us different than any other school. Okay. And when it comes to psychology, which is developmental psychology, here is the cheat sheet for developmental psychology. This is what I went to school for, this human development. And so you have research components, the type of research that they do, okay, genetic influence, and then here we go. Since infancy and toddlerhood, okay, it talks a little bit about that, cognitive development, brain development, okay. So again, these are also things that you need to restudy from birth until death, and this entitles the first noble truth. You don't have to take notes. Just take notes with your eyes for now.
I'm just writing them.
Eric Erickson. But all of this you can just, all of this you put in human development theories on Google and it'll all show up. Human development theories. Okay. Eric Erickson is one of them. Levinson's also another one. So much.
EIRK.
Mm.
EIRK S1.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the second one?
Levinson's theory of development.
Like that.
Mm-hmm. With an I. Levin. So then part of School of Chi-Dao has to do with counseling psychology and psychotherapy. You need to know the basics. See, this is ethics, especially informed consent and confidentiality. You need to know confidentiality, especially when students share information about trauma, addiction, and abuse, and methods and different types of therapies. Okay, so I'm just giving you a you need to know what humanistic therapy is. You need to know what behavior therapy is, which is part of that is CBT. Over here, cognitive behavior modification therapy.
Humanistic and what else? Cognitive.
You'll get to go through this. Trust me. You don't have to know it now, but just so that you understand the school of what is School of Chi-Dao and why do they have to study this and be different than the rest of the other monks. See, abnormal psychology. And this talks about all sorts of issues. This falls under that category. Okay. Then we go to depressive disorders, trauma and stress related disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, dissociative disorder, psychosomatics, substance abuse, neurocognitive, schizophrenia. Okay, and these deserve more additional research online. Okay. Then we move to clinical psychology, and group therapies, and so on, so on. Yeah. So it's quite deep, but this is you want to live a life that is meaningful and purposeful, and a venerable that is worthy of veneration and respect for millenniums to come. That these are the things that you need to be aware of, right?
Gain Kanya.
Correct. The difference between a Buddha and an Arahant is that a Buddha has to know everything, and an Arahant just have to give up everything. And in this lifetime, if you die, the only thing you take with you is your knowledge. So if you take unfavorable rebirth, at least you get to be like a worm, but you're gonna be a very knowledgeable worm. You're gonna be the worm that kind of like, just like inch its way around town on a leaf, but yet you have a PhD in your mind. So all the other worms are just dumb, but you're not gonna be the dumb worm. Or if you don't, or if you take rebirth into another human, you'll be one of the smartest human that ever just popped out. Mind you, we have like Frankenstein, like we have all sorts of Galileo Galilei. We have all sorts of scholars, that came along this way. And one must ask, how did you all get so brilliant and intelligent before our time? Because of the rebirths that they've taken, that the knowledge that traveled with them. And then when they manifested, they explained the universe, the law of relativity, the law of inertia, law of gravity. So therefore they became brilliant of their time. And Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, all of that. So again, you want to be able to be knowledgeable in this lifetime. Oh, I mean, what else are you gonna study? PlayStation 5. How's that gonna serve you in the next life?
Right.
Right. Useless, idle. So worthy of consideration into this. And so I went into the laundry room and I saw all these like fiction books, and I was like, it was like this high, and I was like, wow, what a waste of one's time and life that you could have finished 2 Nikayas, 3 Nikayas out of all that fiction. Useless.
Yeah. Even I remember in school. Same thing.
Right. So when you see all that right there, all that right there has to do with everything that's in here. There's not one book in there that doesn't have to do with something that is out of all that I just pulled from there. And it's like, why did I spend so much money on that? to update this. And the world's going to be needing to rely on the next knowledgeable, authentic, experienced, good teacher. Knowledgeable would be one of them. Out of everything, let's say you fail on whatever scale it is, the one thing you need to get down is knowledge. Superior in knowledge, superior in morality, superior in ethics, superior in knowledge, education, and wisdom. Excellence in the beginning, excellence in the middle. So therefore, it will lead to probably excellence in the end. Okay. All right. I know you guys have a lot of questions out there, so please shoot them via Instagram. But teachers now ran out of breath after 54 minutes. So I like to conclude so that I can rest for the weekend ahead. I never stopped teaching, never. And never stopped training him. And even when we were traveling with Jorge on the road with two-way radios, where's the two-way radios? Oh, they're not here. They're over there. We got these two-way radios when we travel in different cars, that we do not engage in idle speech and talk about nothingness. We will talk about the Noble Eightfold Path. So I gave Venerable Lee a radio and I said, talk about the Noble Eightfold Path. I didn't say introduce Bhikkhu Bodhi. I said the Noble Eightfold Path. You see how you didn't stay on point? Right. And there's a reason why. If I wanted you to introduce Bhikkhu Bodhi, I would tell you introduce Bhikkhu Bodhi before you say the Noble Eightfold Path, right? You have to know how to detain one's mind. And so I just wanted him to be on point, clinical, with the Noble Eightfold Path. I don't want him to think about Bhikkhu Bodhi while he's talking. There's too much information. Certain students, too much information. Certain students, you just need to get straight to the point. That's it. And that's how you do it. All right. So we will wrap this up. Thank you all for being wonderful listeners, attentive listeners. Have a wonderful weekend. Get ready for Father's Day coming up. Safe travels and tune in as much as you can. Never stop giving. Never stop giving to this school of Jidao. The link trees there, and your donations goes to additional books that Venerable Lee is going to need. This is one of them. There's, I think, for the past couple of live talks, you all have seen the plethoras of books that is mounting, necessary to further his education and experience. So again, anyone who would like to donate to further our cause, it's a very daunting task, but I am quite determined in this lifetime I will cultivate as many monks as I possibly can to serve what the challenges lies ahead for all of us. So again, may you all be well, be happy, be free, and always be healthy. And until the very next live sessions. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. You can end that. Yeah.